Today we are going to cover about 5, 6 areas. There are certain ancillary areas where you get questions, right? All these things what I'm discussing with you today, you might get not full questions, uh, at least 5 marks questions, 1 or 2 5 marks questions you will get definitely. Sometimes it will be more than that, right? Sometimes it can go up to 10 marks, like entrepreneur trade around, it can go up to 10 marks. So earning 5 marks or 10 marks can make a big difference to your total score. So therefore, you can't miss anything. You have to study. And the other thing, IBSL told me that they have uploaded the evaluation forms to evaluate the lecturer. That's for you to evaluate me, right? So it is up to you. Please fill that form and uh, send it to IBSL within 1 or 2 days time. At least latest by Tuesday, they want to have the forms from you, right? So please oblige to that. Please fill that, right? Your uh, candid opinion on me, and then send it to IBSL. Right. Here we go. Counter trade. Counter trade is also, first we'll try to understand what is counter trade. Counter trade means exchanging goods or services which are paid for in whole or part with other goods or services. Normally, when we buy goods or services, we have to pay in currency. But here in counter trade, it will be exchanged. The goods or services will be exchanged for another goods or services. The payment will be as another goods or services rather than with money. That is counter trade. Um, in our countries, we don't have counter trade much here, but I don't know this in our syllabus. They have put this one. I can't understand the rationale, but this is not in use in Sri Lanka very much. We are, we are we don't exchange goods for goods. It's always for money, right? The common characteristics of counter trade arrangement is that export sales to a particular market are made conditional upon undertaking to accept imports from that market, right? So I'll give you some examples. With that example, we can easily understand this concept, right? When we are doing some exports, we are selling it, our exports. We are sending the goods to another country, expecting, and there's an undertaking to accept import from that market, right, for the same value. Why do countries wish to do counter trade? The main reason for counter trade is some countries lack commercial credit or convertible foreign currency to pay for imports, right? And therefore, counter trade is needed to finance the imports. Luckily, we are not like that. We can pay in foreign currencies. Now, we make a trip, but in time to come, how do we know whether we'll have to go back to the counter trade where the things are happening in our country, right? We can't do the payments, no foreign currency. Huh? Right? We export tea and we import sugar. Tea against sugar, the price. It's like a joke, but not a joke. It may happen also if the things become worse and worse, right? Okay. Uh, So if they don't have convertible foreign currency, that's the main reason. Our currency is convertible. We have a value for currency. Any major currencies, we have a value. For dollars, board rate is 203 or 204, board rate, right? But there's a value. For sterling, 281, 82. Euro, about 230, something like that. Right? We have a value, and we can convert our rupees into those currencies. If we have foreign currencies, abundant foreign currencies, we didn't have any issues earlier. Only now we are having this issue. So ours is a convertible currency. But mostly in African countries, those currencies, the underdeveloped countries, those currencies are not convertible currencies. Right? Some developing countries use counter trade to boost their developing manufacturing industries, which will enable them to export more goods by means of counter trade arrangements. Some developed countries or developing countries, they use counter trade to boost their developing manufacturing industry. Now, normally these counter trade is a common phenomenon in African region. Uh, you know, the African continent is a very rich continent. Rich in the sense, not by way of money, but they have what? What they have?
Diamonds?
They
Minerals.
have diamonds, gold, titanium, zinc, copper, enough. For the entire world, they are supplying, but they can't understand their value. That's the main reason, right? So these people, uh, especially some very precious steel, precious, items like titanium, which we use to build uh, aircrafts, right? So all those things are, you can find it from African continent. And most of the developing countries like France, Germany, and Norway and UK and all those people, what they do is they will give they will give uh, either uh, some mining equipments. They will give mining equipments to those guys to do the mining and to extract those precious metal. And then they exchange that mining equipment, a machinery, sort of precious metal. Those idiots doesn't know the value of that one. They think, yeah, okay, we want to do mining. When doing mining, we create jobs. Job opportunities are there, and all those things they think, right? And sometimes what they do is they take titanium from and other precious metals from those countries, and in return, what they give them is arms and ammunitions. That is why there are uh, continuous continuous wars between civil wars between uh, African countries. Uganda is fighting against Eritrea. Eritrea, then uh, these people, Ethiopia is looking at the fight, and then they'll get involved. They get one side, then they'll get involved, right? So they are fighting with each other. From what? Arms and ammunition. Arms and ammunitions, those so-called uh, capitalist countries, the developing countries, they send enough arms and ammunitions. Those people can't understand the value. So they think, oh, now We are having arms and ammunition. Why can't we hit that other country? Why can't we capture the country? The funniest thing is the same people who have supplied arms and ammunition to Eritrea, they are supplying to Uganda also. The same people, same arms and ammunition. So only when the war starts, the other people will realize those are those people are also hitting us with the same arms and ammunition. Still, they can't understand. Very pity situation. Right now, I think you can understand what is a counter trade arrangement. Have I give you some insight of counter trade? What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah, I think uh, better than what I thought. Right, I managed to give you the insight. But only thing is, when we are talking about this, there will be little bit of politics involved. Right, I'm a guy always critically analyzing. So I don't have any political parties or anything, but uh, we have to analyze critically. When you're the economist or when you're a banker, you have to analyze everything. Don't accept anything granted, right? If you think that it is good, take it, right? That's what even the Lord Buddha has preached, right? Some countries use counter trade as an instrument of their political and economic policies. You know what a monkey liver? In a biased market, to obtain more trade or to obtain uh, new technology from another country. That's why we need counter trade, right? Right. We'll try to understand this financial counter trade with a problem and the solution. Then you will understand it better. A UK exporter sells capital goods to a less developed country. Capital goods is, we'll say, uh, mining equipments, machinery, right? Those heavy machinery, they sell it to a less developed country, LDC country. Less developed country is the African country. Payment in the currency of LDC, due to LDC government restrictions on exchange control, that prevents the UK exporter from converting the LDC currency into sterling. Because of that plan, it is not a convertible currency. So you you can convert LDC currency into sterling. Because of that, UK guy, the exporter, cannot get the payment. So the possible solution is the UK exporter uses, rather than uh, getting the money in LDC currency, if they get it in LDC currency, there's no point. What's the use of having LDC currency in UK, in London? There's no point. So what they will do, the UK exporter uses that LDC currency to buy sugar from another producer in the LDC country, less less developed country, right? Now, for example, if you think for the equipments they have given to heavy equipments they have given to LDC guy, right? They have to get the value of that is LDC 10 million currency, 10 million currency of a particular unit, right? Currency තියෙනවා. එතකොට what they do, they use that 10 million LDC currency to buy sugar from another guy. That guy has nothing to do with the mining, right? So what is happening is that the mining guy, he will pay Instead of paying to UK, he will pay to the sugar exporter. The sugar exporter will export sugar to UK. Now the UK guy, he is handling machinery. What the hell is going to do with sugar? He is not a sugar dealer. So what he does is he sell that sugar to another guy in UK and ask for money. By that way, right? It's like a U-turn payment. So by that way, he will collect his money, right? But the only thing is they export worth of $10,000 and they get sugar worth of 50. At the end of the day, the UK guy earns a big profit. It's a bit of uh, a mixed thing, but at the end of the day, what you want is to earn profit. It's a good profit, right? Right. There are 6 types of counter trade. When we discuss these things, you will see. Uh, don't worry much because most of the counter trade patterns are very much similar to each other. Right now, first one is offset. First one is offset. Offset is normally this is traditionally used by governments around the world when they have made major purchases of military goods. Sorry, military goods or high technology goods, but it's becoming increasingly common in other sectors also. Offset. What I explained to you, right? They they take titanium, copper, and diamond and all those things, and then give military goods, maybe aircrafts. Do you know that for France and uh, France, Germany, countries like Norway, Norwegian, they are the people who poke their fingers to us and um, create unnecessary problems for us also. Still, they are creating problems. Right? That is their job. That is their job. They look for a less developed country and try to expand their tentacles and create issues and earn as much as possible. Right? So they take the most precious metals and then give them uh, military goods or high technology goods. High technology goods නම් මිනිස්සු පාවිච්චි කරන්න දන්නෙත් නැහැ. But they keep it because they want to show their strength and they give for everybody and making them fight with each other. That is offset. Counter purchase. Counter purchase is a foreign supplier undertakes to purchase goods and services from the purchasing country, the importer, as a condition of securing the order. Now, counter purchase is generally imposed for 2 reasons. First, to stimulate exports, and second, in alleviate the balance of payment deficit resulting from imported goods. Right. So this is another one because if sometimes even some countries they use this counter purchase is to alleviate the balance of payment deficit resulting from imported goods. When we have more imported goods, our balance of payment is more because we have to send the money out. Then it will be a negative balance, right? But if you are not sending the money out, instead of that, we get the sugar. We do something and we purchase something, right? we get something in return, then we don't have to pay money. But people are happy, right? It is something like that. Tolling. Tolling is another type. Tolling, in a tolling deal, supplier himself provide the raw materials. With the supplier, those developed countries, they will provide the raw materials. For example, steel ingots. Steel ingots can steel kandang wage තියෙනවා. And has the capacity of the factory to turn into finished goods, steel tubes. Now, what they do is they will use one of the factories in those countries, but they are lacking with the steel ingots. So, what the developing countries will do, they will provide raw materials, that is, steel ingots, they provide. And the final customer, final දෙකක් ඇවිල්ලා නේද මේකේ? Right. Generally important, tolling. These are then bought by a final customer who pays the supplier in cash. Although, throughout the process, the supplier retains ownership of the material as it is processed by the factory. Now, the supplier who supplied the steel ingots, he retains the ownership of the material. Right? Okay? Right. Until he gets paid. Barter system. Barter system is a common one. You all know. That was the first financial system which we can talk about before the money or the currencies came into the market. Right? Barter is one of the most common method as well as the oldest method in trading. Okay? In a barter deal, goods are exchanged for goods. Okay? The principal export is paid for with goods or services from the importing market. A single contract covers both flows, and in the same simpler case, no cash is involved. Do you know in Sri Lanka, among few circles, this barter system is operating. Among private circles. Yeah, I know one of the circles, some of my friends got involved in that circle. Okay. Unfortunately, they will not entertain me. They are not asking me to join because I don't have anything to give to them other than the knowledge. These days, who wants the knowledge? අපි දන්න දේ කියන එක බල්ලෙට්ටත් ඕනේ නැහැ නේ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ටත් එච්චරම ගානකුත් නැහැ. එක්සාම් පාස් වෙන නින්ද අහගෙන ඉන්නවා. That's my only wealth. But these people, I'll tell you some example. It's a nice example, but it's true. මේක වෙන එකක්. One of my friends he owns a garage, top class top class mechanic, right? දොස්තරලා ලෙඩ හොයාගන්නවා වගේ ඕන ලෙඩක් හොයාගෙන බේත් කරේ. He has it. They all are well-to-do people. And another guy is, I'm not telling the names because you know them. I'm sure definitely you know them. He's a well-known wedding photographer. Very famous. Very famous wedding photographer. Another person is he's an finance director of a blue chip company. Finance director of a blue chip company. But they are all are good friends. Right? තව එක්කෙනෙක් හිටියා වගේ ඒගොල්ලෝ කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා. Right? So what they do is whenever they want to repair their vehicle, they put it to my friend's garage. And he repairs and he writes it. He gives them the invoice and keeps one invoice for them and open a ledger fold paper saying that so and so he has to pay him so much. But he is not taking any money, only maintaining that account. Like that, they do. But whenever they get an opportunity to do something, then they'll do it free of charge. So I can remember my friend is having only 3 sons, no daughters. It sounds like a wedding story, for the wedding photography and the video filming and all, it'll cost you 4.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs. Definitely. Right? ඒ ඔක්කොම ඔයා නිකන් කරගත්තේ. ඒ වෙලාව සල්ලි හොයන්න ගියා නම් කොච්චර අමාරුද? Outstanding balances, barter, service against service. Right? So that was another one. Compensation or buyback deals. Compensation or buyback deals. Buyback is a form of a barter that is favored by some Eastern European countries. Suppliers of capital goods agreed to be paid by the future output of the factory they are supplying. Right? Now, for example, ICI, International Chemical Industries, could sell a chemical processing plant to a less developed country and take part of the plant's future output of chemicals as payment. They will sell a chemical processing plant, but the money, the cost of that, they will take it as they take it from future outputs of chemicals as payments. Okay? So both parties, they are up on the deal. Both parties, they are up on the deal. ඔයාගේ තමයි මේ මෙහෙත් ආවේ. During Mrs. Bandaranaike's time, the Russian government they donated a steel factory to us. Later it was called Steel Corporation at Orwala, Athuragiriya, next to my place. But they negate time again. Orwala Steel Corporation again, right? That was a gift, like a donation from the Russian government. But the output, They also, after, not only that, they also gave steel ingots. And after making steel ingots into steel tubes, then what they call uh, small steel there were structures from the Kambio again. All those things, sometimes Russia will buy it because for them, our labor is very cheap. Our people also, they get the factory, and initially a lot of employment has been created, good for the country. Right? I think for 10 years or so, we had some agreement to sell the stuff to Russia, but now we don't have. Now the entire factory has been sold to, and early it was sold to Korean guys, then to Indian guys, now to another Sri Lankan guy. Right? So that is compensation or buyback deals. Number 6 is switch or swap trading. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. පණ ගිය ක්වෙස්චන් එකක් අහන්න තු දිගටම කියන්න ගියා මොකද දෙපාරක් විතර මම ඔය කියවනවා කවුරුකත් නැහැ කතා කරන්නවත් නැහැ බලනකොට මාව ඇහෙන්නේ නැහැ disconnect වෙලා. Right? So if that thing happen again, please give me a call. Switch or swap trading. Switch or swap trading is something like this: imbalances in long-term bilateral trade. Okay, let's have an example. It's easy. Sri Lanka, India, and Pakistan ගන්න බෑනේ. Pakistan ගත්තොත් රණ්ඩු වෙනවනේ. Right? අපි ඒ වගේ එකක් ගන්න බලන්න. Sri Lanka, India, and it's a Bangladesh. Sri Lanka, India, and Bangladesh. We have a bilateral or multilateral trading agreement. All these countries, right? So what we will do, according to the bilateral or multilateral trading agreements, we trade with India. And we send our tea or spices or something to India, then they will send their stuff, right? They pay and sometimes we have supplied more items to India than what they are giving us, right? Because of that, there are a lot of money we owe from India. So meanwhile, we do trading with Bangladesh also. And Bangladesh has sent more stuff to us and we pay them. We have to get money from India. Here, we have to pay Bangladesh. So this switch or swapping trading, what we can do is, instead of paying Bangladesh, we paying Bangladesh, we can ask India to, India is holding certain money for our exports now. So we can ask them to settle Bangladesh on behalf of us. Right? It is switch or swap trading. Such transactions are known as switch or swap trading because they typically involve switching of the documentation of the goods on the. Sometimes it happens in the high seas also. Switching, right? So මම හිතන්නේ මේ ඕලංගෙන් අහනවා නම් අහන්නේ එක විදියට අහන්නේ what is counter trade, what is counter trade, and list 6 counter trade, 6 types of counter trade. 6 types of counter trade. Answer right? Okay. Additional risk faced by the exporters in counter trade. Additional risk faced by the exporters in counter trade. The cost of counter trade might exceed the exporters' expectations. Right? The exporter might be pushed into agreeing to accept large quantities of unmarketable goods. This happened. Who is the most powerful person will be the guy who is dictating terms, right? The importer's country might place an unrealistically high value on the goods they wish to counter trade. Right? The importer's country might place an unrealistically high value on the goods they wish to counter trade. So, whoever the most powerful guy will win. Right? Since several parties are likely to be involved in a counter trade arrangement, it will increase the risk of cancellation of an export order due to one party failing failing its contractual obligations. Because there are more than 2 parties involved in this counter trade, like UK exporter will send the capital goods to LDC country, then the LDC country, the buyer will settle the bills, settle that amount to another sugar exporter, manufacturer. That guy will send the sugar to UK guy. The UK guy is not dealing with sugar. He will sell it to some other sugar importer there in UK and get the cash from them. Right? There are too many agreements. Like if there's a issue with one agreement, then the whole system will collapse. The whole system will collapse. So therefore, it's a very big risk to the exporters in counter trade. Right? Okay. So entrepot trade are trading transactions. Yeah, thank you very much. Entrepot trade are trading transactions where a middleman in one country buys goods from a seller in a second country and sell them to a buyer in a third country at a profit and with a minimum value addition and without changing the character of the goods or even without any value addition. With or without any value addition. Right? In simple terms, entrepot trade involves importing goods from one country for the purpose of re-exporting to another. I'll try to explain this to you with a case study. Then it will be much easier for you. Because that's the way I'm always teaching. Because stories, you can remember the stories, not the entrepot trade. Big words, right? But once upon a time stories, yes, you can. Now, we have a trader, Mr. Perra. Mr. Perra is manufacturing soft toys. Soft toys, right? Soft toys like Barbie dolls. Okay, Barbie doll. So this, if you say soft toys or Barbie dolls or something, right? Now he is put into the local market. He has a good market in the local trade. And one of these days, he has gone to, not during COVID pandemic period, right? Before that or after that, he has gone to export trade fair at Expo සෙන්ටර් තියනවාද මෙතන අපේ ඩී.ආර්. විජයවර්ධන මාවතේ එක්ස්පෝර්ට් සෙන්ටර්. ඒකේ තිබුණා ට්‍රේඩ් ෆෙයාර් එකකට මෙහා ගියා දවසක් යනවා. There he met some foreigners, some buyers from European market. They are looking for soft toys. They are looking for soft toys, right? And he had some contacts. He made some contacts with them, and now he said, okay, I can export your requirement. So he has given he said, I will make the costing, because I'll have to check all these export expenses and all, and we will be in touch. I can do it. So now he has got some confirmed buyers for export order. Export order then set karken inne. Meanwhile, he learned that there's another trade fair in Peking or Beijing, China. China trade fair is another very famous one. He went there, and then he visited the trade fair. While visiting, he came across soft toys manufacturers. And they are also manufacturing the soft toys in very much similar to what he is manufacturing. And to find out about the costing, they are damn cheap, very cheap, because they do mass scale, they have the machinery, equipment, technology, everything. So their stuff is very, very cheap. So what they did, what this guy did was he made contacts with those people also. Came back to Sri Lanka. Then he thought, why should I spend money on manufacturing the Barbie dolls and soft toys? My costing will be about per unit, it's about 10 US dollars per unit, 10 US dollars per unit. Whereas if I buy it from China, it will cost me only $2. Entire container load will, per unit price will be about $2. Right? So what he thought was, okay, instead of quoting $10 to the German buyer, he quote him $8. So the German buyer is also very happy. Now he is getting, he thought earlier during the discussion, he thought it is $10. Now he got a offer from this guy. Okay, I'm prepared to sell it to you at $8. So both are happy. Then what this guy does is he brings a container load of soft toys from China and keep it in a bonded warehouse at Hambantota. Bonded warehouse at Hambantota Harbour. That means you can't take those goods into the country. Unload kala thiyenne. It is in Sri Lanka, but it's in a bonded warehouse. Right? It's like a foreign soil log here tamai enne. Then what he says is, okay, he had few value. That is, he gets some packing material and prepares cardboard packs. Pack it inside the boxes. That's it. He did a small value addition. And then he export to the German buyer. The entire value addition has cost him about $2. That is including of labor. $2. So altogether, now he has spent $4. But he has a confirmed order to send it to some foreign country at $8. So his net profit is $4. $4 is his net profit. Right? That is the case I want to put it to you. Now we'll understand how this in step by step, how we can apply our things to this particular case. Right? When a buyer from another country makes inquiries on certain goods, the middleman will check the availability of those goods with his suppliers in another country and their price. Who is the middleman here? Chinese guy, Sri Lankan guy, or German guy? Hello?
Sri Lankan guy.
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lankan guy. Sri Lankan guy is the middleman. Right? So based on the price, their cost involved, the middleman quote a price to the buyer. This is what I have explained to you with the case study. Right? If they agree, he enters into a purchase contract with supplier and a sales contract with the buyer. Simultaneously, he will enter into a purchase contract with the supplier in China and sales contract with the buyer in Germany. Right? So the difference in price minus all cost is the middleman's profit. Right? 8 and 6, we buy it at 2, we sell it at 8. We buy it at 2, sell it at 8. What is the difference in price? 6. 6 minus all cost. Cost is another 2. 6 minus 2 is the middleman's profit, that is 4. Right? Suppliers ship the goods as instructed and submit documents through banking channels to middleman. The Chinese guy will ship the goods. There's a container load of soft toys and submit the documents through the banking channels to the middleman. Right? The middleman then arrange with his bank to substitute the bill of exchange and the commercial invoice received from the supplier with its own documents for the higher value and present them to the buyer. Right? This is even without adding value, we can do that. If we can get it as it is, then we can sell it. Only to switch the documents. Right? So the final buyer will pay and obtain documents to clear the goods. From the proceeds received, the amount due to the supplier is paid and difference is paid to the middleman. Now, the middleman's bank will receive at $8 per unit. They will get the money. Then they have to pay the importer, the supplier, the Chinese guy. So Chinese guy, they pay at $2 per unit price again. Balance will be the middleman's profit. This $4 will be the middleman's profit. The exact operation will depend on the method of payment used for the settlement of two contracts. Right? Now, more clarification on entrepot trade. Now, there are certain controls. The FOB value of re-export should be more than the CIF value of the imports. Right? FOB value of the re-export should be more than CIF value of the imports. Right? Re-export is not permitted under DA terms. Re-export is not permitted under DA terms. Can you do a small sketch? On the left hand side, take a piece of paper, and on left hand side, say country A, China. මේ කොලේ මැද ඒ කොනයි මේ කොනයි ගන්න එපා පොඩි මැදින් පොඩ්ඩක් ලියා ගන්න left hand side එකෙන් country A. Then facing the right hand side, you say country C, Germany. Right? In between, towards the bottom, පල්ලෙහාට වෙන්න පොඩ්ඩක්. අර දෙක මැදින් පල්ලෙහාට ලියා ගන්න country B, Sri Lanka. Country B, Sri Lanka. Then draw an arrow from A to B. Then another arrow from B to C. Right. Now, China guy is the supplier. German guy is the buyer. Now, can you write what are the best payment methods? Best payment method that we should apply for do the payments to the Chinese guy, and what is the best payment method we can apply when we are exporting to German guy. I'll give you 2 minutes. Think about it and write the payment methods. Payment methods කියන්නේ payment methods හතරයි තියෙන්නේ. Payment methods හතර කොහොමද අපි ඉන්නේ කියන එක ලියන්න. Whether it's advance payment, open account, collection, LC. මේ හතර. ඔය හතරේ තව කැඩෙනවා. LC site, usance, collection, DA, DP. Right? So DA, DP, LC, site, collection. Altogether there are 6 methods. Now write for the first leg and the second leg. I'll give it 2 minutes. Right? Okay. So what are the best payment methods you can think of from China to Colombo? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So, what are the best payment methods? From China to Colombo, if you have to settle the bills. Yes, something. There are 28 people. Hmm? Amal, Crystal, go. Hmm? What are the best payment methods?
So is it China to Colombo, Colombo to China?
Samila, what is it? China to Colombo. China to Colombo, nahi? Colombo to China, nahi? We are getting the stuff from China to Colombo, container load. Here only we do the changes, value addition. What are the best payment methods? Chaturanga? Come on. Are you bankers? We have only 4 payment methods, right?
DA terms, sir.
Sorry, louder.
DA terms.
DA is good.
Yeah.
LC terms are good. If it's LCs,
Yeah.
it has to be a higher number of days LCs. So much the better.
DA terms, yes. Then collection DA. Okay, fine. That is correct. Then what else?
Usance.
Uh-huh.
Usance terms, sir. LC.
LC usance terms. Okay, fine. Fine. Then എച്ചെടുത്ത് because the first leg, what should be the objective of the middleman? What should be the objective of the middleman?
To settle the payments to China in a longer period.
There you are. To delay the payment as much as possible. There you are. So tell me, you have mentioned 2.
Open account?
Open account. Correct. From Colombo to Germany. What is the best payment method?
DP is one method.
LC site?
Site is one.
DP, yes. LC site, and then
And even usance, a shorter period of usance. We'll say if you are getting 60 days from China, 30 days to Germany.
no, I will not say wrong. Yeah, possible. Another important payment method which we miss,
Advance
TD?
payment.
advance payment. We'll ask them to pay in advance, right? So in that case, we can get the money and then pay the Chinese supplier, right? Why I'm telling you this is in the next slide we can discuss that, right? Because when we get the stuff from China, the government of Sri Lanka is supporting this entrepot trading. So they give the trader or the middleman, what do you call this, free without charging free 21 days. 21 days free for bonded warehouse facility. They give us bonded warehouse facilities, 21 days free to make any changes or to do any value additions and then send it back to and re-export it free of charge. So within 21 days, if you can plan out your processing and re-export the stuff, you're completely up on the deal. You don't have to have a factory. You don't have to have uh, any other infrastructure facilities. Everything provided by the government.
So I have a
Right?
small
So
question.
yeah,
Suppose if you are going to add value while the goods
yeah,
are in a bonded warehouse, do they allow you to
yeah.
take it to another factory, or does the importer
No,
has to do it in the bonded warehouse itself?
yes, a very good question. Very good question. What's your name, Buddha?
Amal, sir. Amal.
What is it? Amal. Amal, very good question, Amal. Because in a bonded, when you keep the goods in a bonded warehouse, you are not supposed to take the goods out. Whatever the value addition, you have to do it inside the bonded warehouse. That warehouse is more than enough for you, right? You can employ about 10, 15 people or even more than that and do the value addition. You got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, but you can't take the stuff outside, right? That means you're taking to the country. Country to Gigamang, you won't get that facility, right? So that is why this says FOB value of re-export should be more than the CIF value of the imports. If the CIF value of the import is $2, the FOB value of the re-export should be $8. It should be more, right? Re-export is not permitted under DA terms. You see, one student mentioned a shorter DA terms, but central bank circular says, central bank circular for entrepot trade, they are not permitted under DA terms. Okay, the exporter, the entrepot trader should declare the actual country of origin in the customs documents. The actual country of origin is China, right? Okay. The importation of narcotics and arms and ammunition are strictly prohibited. That you can't do it under entrepot trade. එහෙම නැත්නම් කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. We import narcotics from Pakistan, do a wholesale container load, then packing 1 kilo packs, and then re-export it. Shortness. So it is not permitted.
So
It is
can you
not.
tell us why it is not allowed under DA terms in Sri Lanka?
No, this is the central bank regulation, because if it is DA terms, right, if you have to pay the who is this guy, the importer, supplier is China guy, then either you have to pay from your own money or you have to ask for bank's facility. The main reason, the main purpose of this entrepot trading is without utilizing the foreign exchange of the country, without utilizing the foreign exchange of the country, okay, to obtain foreign exchange under this facility, to obtain foreign exchange. දැන් මෙතන අර DA වලට අරහේ DA අපි දීලා ගෙවන්න වුණොත් ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙනවා. In case if it gets delayed. But as you said, if you are asking for the maximum, these guys will agree 1 month or 2 months the maximum. Who, the Chinese guy. He will not agree for more than that. Right? Then, because he needs money. We had to spend 21 days. Okay, if you finished within 21 days, you're okay. Otherwise, if you couldn't do it, then it will get dragged. Then we will not get in the money from the German guy. Then we have to use our own money, or you have to go for a bank loan or bank facilities. Right? That is why, to avoid that, we simply says not permitted under DA terms. Right? Okay. Under the commercial hub regulations, Sri Lanka, under the commercial hub regulations, Sri Lanka has declared 2 seaports in Colombo and Hambantota as free ports for this entrepot trading. The export promotion zone in Katunayaka, EPZ in Katunayaka, by the main international airport, and export promotion zone, or export processing zone, sorry, not promotion, export processing zone in Koggala by the Mattala airport are also designated bonded areas. Right? So we have 2 seaports in Colombo and Hambantota, and 2 another EPZ zones, processing zones near Katunayaka and Mattala airport. It's at Koggala. Right? Under the commercial hub regulations, the BOI is permitted to grant certain concessions to entrepot traders. Well, I don't know why we can't do it. At the more at present scenario, in the current situation, we need foreign currency. We need foreign currency if we are to get out of this mess. So why can't the government promote these things? Why can't the government encourage these things? There are a lot of things are happening. I don't know why these people can't think of it. There are ways, right? Why they are not promoting these things? It's an easy way of foreign currency. Otherwise, if you sell tea, first you have 2 months, 8 months, 10 months real per samay, you get the foreign exchange. Here, within 21 days. Very quick. Right? Okay. The benefits of entrepot trade to traders, a relatively easy method of earning foreign exchange. And the period of time spent to complete a transaction is relatively short. Advantage of not charging importer or export levy at the port. So there you get a lot of benefits, right? Benefits of entrepot trade to the country. Increase foreign exchange earnings of a country. Generates additional earnings, including valuable foreign exchange earnings for seaports and airports by lending, what do you call this, bonded warehouse facilities, even though it is 21 days free, right? If you plan it out, people can do it within 21 days. Sometimes it might take more than that, right? But anyway, when there are so many planes and ships are coming to our ports, airports and seaports, there will be foreign exchange, refueling, all those things. Right? That is foreign exchange. And other service providers in Sri Lanka, both in the public and private sector. Enhance the image of the country as a trading center. In a lot of countries, they are doing on-support trade in big time, like Hong Kong, Singapore, Philippines, then UK, Norway, They have a massive entrepot trade facilities. Hong Kong is very famous, right? So why can't we do? Why can't we promote? We are only talking about this for the last so many years, but I haven't seen any positive steps by the bank. Have you ever heard of this thing, even in a paper or even in a news um, bulletins? Anybody, any of the damn ministers are talking about these things, promoting this? Nothing. I don't know whether they know about it. Right? Not only that, just imagine we generate not only the additional earnings, we uh, we generate a lot of jobs to these people, because we need people to do the processing. For that, we had to get people not only from Hambantota. And the other thing, Hambantota Harbour area, you get abundant areas. You can put up some uh, bonded warehouses, and you can make it a heaven to Sri Lanka, right? තාම අපි කරන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් අපි එහෙම කළා නම් අපි we have to get people from other areas like Ratnapura, Anuradhapura, Kurunegala, Kaluthara. That area we'll have to hire people, and they have to come to Hambantota and do this processing. Those people have to stay in boarding houses. So it's an indirect revenue for the people in that area. Right? They have to eat. Either they have to eat from houses, they have to buy food from houses, or they have to cook their own food in the boarding house, or they have to use small boutiques. පෙට්ටි කඩේකට ගිහිල්ලා අර රුපියල් 80 බත්තයක් කරේ කනවා. But that is money for that guy. බුලත් සිට කඩේ. මේ මොනවාද බනිස් ගෙඩිය කෙසේ ගෙඩිය තියෙන කඩවල. Those people will not go to Shangri-La Hambantota. For me, right? Okay. The facilities provided by the Sri Lankan government to develop the entrepot trade. It is regulations issued by the Control of Exchange encouraging entrepot trade via Sri Lanka or direct to the third country. Even we can send the goods direct to the third country. Without coming to Sri Lanka also we can do it. For example, from China, we can do the transaction here, but the goods will go from China to Germany directly. China to Germany, right? But the paperwork will be done through Colombo. So the German guy will be having contacts with us. Only he is getting the stuff from China directly. He knows that. Yeah, he is getting from them, but he is happy because he knows that our guy, Sri Lankan guy, has put a agent there, and he's checking all these things. He do the quality control and everything, and then they load it and go direct to the. We don't no value addition for us, but it can be done through entrepot trading, right? Or else you can load to a ship, and that ship will come to Hambantota, right? And then unload it and reload it to another ship and go to Germany. That is also entrepot trade. Entrepot trade වලට අපි දාලා යන්න පුළුවන් ඒ method එකත් approved. That's also an approved one. We are not adding any value. We are not adding any value. The goods cannot be taken into the country. It is not coming from the ship to another one, or from an aircraft to another aircraft, right? Or adding value, that also can happen. Or else we can get the goods and put it to the bonded warehouse without adding any value. After 5-6 days time, once we finalize the second leg, we can send it. That also can happen, right? Tax exemptions granted for selected products like petroleum, gas, and petroleum products. Concessionary warehouse charges and free facility up to 21 days granted by Sri Lanka Ports Authority. Goods under entrepot trade are stored in bonded warehouses until exported, right? But prohibited to be used in Sri Lanka. That's a must. The EDB create awareness by conducting seminars and issuing brochures and provide advisory services. Right? The EDB create awareness by conducting seminars and issuing brochures and provide advisory services. Building infrastructure such as air cargo terminal at Katnayaka, Sri Lanka Ports Authority warehouse at DR Vijayatana Mawatha and Hambantota Port. Right? Okay. So those are the things. Any questions? Any questions you want to ask on entrepot trade?
So what is the EDB?
Export Development Board.
Okay, so
I'm going to discuss. I'm going to discuss with you in next couple of minutes. I'm doing only the ancillary areas today. Now we have finished counter trade. We have finished entrepot trade, right? Then we'll go to the other one. Okay. Okay. This is another area. SLESIC, Sri Lanka Export Credit Insurance Corporation. Sri Lanka Export Credit Insurance Corporation, SLESIC. Can you see the presentation? Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you can see the presentation, huh? Right, okay, fine. Now, Sri Lanka Export Credit Insurance Corporation is a very, very important organization. But again, I don't know why we are not using these organizations to the maximum. Once I finish this one, now when I finish entrepot trade, now you might feel, why can't we do things like that? Right? Now, when I finish SLESIC also, you will think, why can't we take the maximum use out of this organization? What are we doing in Sri Lanka? Right? අපි කරන්නේ ඉතින් කමිෂන් එන එකක් විතරමුත් විතරයි අපි කරන්නේ. මේ පවර් ප්‍රොජෙක්ට්ස් විකුණයි ඒ වගේ දේවල් තමයි අපිට ඕනේ. The background of SLESIC is 1977 was a very important year for the economy of Sri Lanka. A turning point. What is it? Why is that?
Open market operations were introduced.
Yeah, open market operation, free economy. open market operations started in 1977. When we started the open market economy, then we, during Mr. George Jardina's time, actually he had a superb brain in Asia as his right-hand person. Unfortunately, when a brainy guy is there doing politics, his lifespan is very, very limited. If you are brainy and if you are doing politics, any mutt or a fool, they are the people who will do politics. Today is another very, very important day, very unfortunate day. Lost murder of another brainy guy in Sri Lankan politics. With that, today, September 26th.
ලලිත ඇතුළත් මුදලි.
No. Maru Lange, common sense. Today is Mr. Bandar Naik, SWRD Bandar Naik. He was murdered on 1958, September 26th. Right? So the other guy was Lalit Atulamalli. Lalit Atulamalli was another guy. He was also murdered. ඒකද කවදාකවත් ඔයගලන්ට පුතේ හොඳට ඉගෙන ගන්න ලොකු එක්සෑම් පාස් කරලා හොඳට මොලේ තියෙනවා නම් පොලිටික්ස් වලට යන්න එපා මරනවම තමයි. මොඩියුටි එක විතරයි පොලිටික්ස් වලට ඉතුරු වෙන්න ඕනේ. So he is the one who started this organization to support the exporters. And it was established in 1978 under the Parliament Act of number 15 of 1978. Right? The major activities of under this SLESIC, Sri Lanka Exporting, every country has this export credit insurance corporations. Every country has. But in Sri Lanka, it is SLESIC because Sri Lanka Export Credit Insurance. That's why it's SLESIC. Nothing export credit insurance ECIC කියලා හැම country එකම තියෙනවා. Right? So the major activities are issue of pre-shipment credit guarantees, issue of post-shipment credit guarantees, and issue of export production credit guarantees, issue of export performance guarantees covering ATA Khane system. I don't think you know about it. I will explain to you ATA Khane system, and issue of export payment insurance policies. Right? Issue of export payment insurance policies. Those are the major activities of SLESIC. These areas, this particular slide might be a good area for the examiner. They will ask, what are the major activities of Sri Lanka Export Insurance Corporation? Sri Lanka Export Credit Insurance Corporation. කියලා අහන්න පුළුවන්. අවුත් මේව ටික දෙන්න වෙනවා. Right? Sellers risk export credit insurance solutions provided by SLESIC. They insure the seller's credit term portfolio against non-payment by buyers for a nominal premium. Right? So this is a very important thing because even though we are doing the exports, if there's a default by the buyers, we will not get the money. Our exporter will not get the money. So that is why this SLESIC they cover that particular risk. Buyers non-payment. Buyers non-payment risk will be covered here. So Sri Lanka Export Trade Insurance Corporation. So why do we want to take another insurance when we are doing the marine insurance? Can Amal give me the answer? We are taking the marine insurance. So why we want to do another insurance?
Marine insurance. Marine insurance is only if the goods are damaged while in transportation, but this covers a credit risk, non-payment risk.
Super, super, excellent answer. Excellent answer. Right? That covers only the if the goods are damaged, but if the buyer doesn't pay, that buyer's credit risk is not covered, right? But this covers. So ensures non-payment of a specific shipment or specific buyers or countries. Ensures Sri Lankan exporters against non-payment of the shipments that are effected from second country to a third country via Sri Lanka on throughput trade. Right? Non-payment of the shipment that are effected from a second country to a third country, from China to Germany, under entrepot trade. If you don't get the money from the German buyers, this will cover. Just think about it. Why we are not using? As a banker with 45 years experience, out of which 30 years in international trade, banks here and overseas, right? When I was working in overseas for 10 years, I saw a lot of people are using this one. In Sri Lanka, I don't know whether you know about it. You just ask one of your trade guys whether they know about this one. Whose fault? I think partly banks also should be blamed. Ensures non-payment for export of services such as software, construction, telecom, everything, right? The risk covered are මට මේක ඉවරෙන්න ඉස්සලා මතක් කරන්න අමල් ATA කාණය මම දැන් ඒක
Okay, sir.
මතක් මේක ඉවර කරන්න යන්නේ ඉවර කරාට පස්සේ ATA කාණය මතක් කරන්න අනිත් එකට යන්න ඉස්සලා the risk covered are insolvency of the buyer, protracted default by the buyer. If you can't understand, stop me. Otherwise, there's nothing you can read and understand. Non-acceptance by the buyer. If it's a DA payment, if they have not accepted. Occurrence of hostilities, wars, insurrections, civil law, political disturbances, like in Afghanistan these days, terrorist actions, natural disaster in the buyer's country. Because of that, if the payment are not coming forward, everything is covered, right? General moratorium declared by the government of the buyer's country, like what we have now. Our government has stopped certain payments of certain commodities. Moratorium එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට විහිර වෙලා තියෙනවා. The buyer wants to pay, but buyer's country, because of their restrictions, they can't do it, right? Then changes in the laws of the buyer's country, and now and import bans, political events or economic difficulties arising in the buyer's country, which prevents delays in transfer of payments to Sri Lanka. Right? All these things are covered, but are not covered. What are not covered under SLESIC is dispute between the exporter and importer regarding the quality, quantity, packing. ගහමංගරාගන්නේව නෑ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ෆයිට් ඒව කහෝ ඉන්නේ නෑ packing etc. unless the exporter obtain a court decree in his favor. Causes inherent in the nature of goods. Causes inherent in the nature of goods. Like when we are transporting hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide. If you do it exposed into the direct sunlight, it will break into H2O and O2, water and oxygen. ඒවා කව වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Those are inherent in the nature of goods. Default of any agents of the exporter. If the exporter has done a mischievous thing, then default by he has collected the money from the buyer and the agent has not paid the money. They are not covered. Fluctuation in the exchange rates, that is also not covered. The benefits to the policyholders are a claim on SLESIC if payment are not made within a reasonable period. Then good collateral security, as a policy gives easy access to post-shipment finance from banks. This will be a collateral security. If you want to get some bank facility, this is a good guarantee, isn't it? It's a good guarantee. So it's a good collateral. Ability to expand exports to existing markets on more competitive trade terms, because when your money is covered, what else you want? You can quote better rates and then go for the new markets. Assessment of credit worthiness of the buyers, because SLESIC will assess those things before they advance money to you. So invariably, you are checking your buyer, what type of a person he is. Right? That will be additional benefit to you. Then advice on buyer's credit and payment terms, assistance in collection of overdue payments, and protects overall liquidity. So all in all, there are so many benefits to the policy holders. Right? The main differences between pre-shipment and post-shipment guarantee schemes. Under the pre-shipment guarantee scheme, the amount granted is 66 2/3 of the guaranteed loss. They don't give the 100%. Like insurance, marine insurance, they give 100%. But here, if it is for pre-shipment trade guarantee, they give only 66 2/3. That is at least 2/3. In simple, 2/3 of the guaranteed loss. That is, something is better than nothing, isn't it? But if it is post-shipment trade guarantee, you will get 75%. Right? Because export has already taken place. Taken the wedding risk අඩුයි දැන් අපිට. The eligible for the advance granted by the bank for export pre-shipment against DC or confirmed export order. Normally, the banks දෙන්නේ DC or confirmed export order, but the banks will surely they will insist on DC. Export order, confirmed export order is just a piece of paper, right? The exporter need not have an export payment insurance policy from the SLESIC. The premium payable, just see the premium. Premium payable is 15 cents per rupees 1,000. 15 cents per rupees 1,000. Again, අපි 15 cents divided by rupees 100. Rupees 100. So the rate is 0.0015. That's the rate, 0.0015. Right? Into, if you say 1 million rupees, ₹1,500. 1 million rupees, the premium is 1,500 rupees. So why can't we take it and cover our exposure? I'm sure if the banks and the government is promoting this thing, a lot of exporters will go for it. 100 million එකක් cover කරගන්න අපිට යන්න 1500. Just imagine. Right? 100 million is how many dollars? Divided by 205 කියන්නේ 4,878. $5,000 කියනකො. $5,000 loss එක cover කරගන්න අපිට යන්න 1,500 rupees. 1,500 rupees කියන්නේ how many dollars? 1,500 divided by 205. $7.3. $7.3. Right? If it is a post shipment, the exporter must have an export payment insurance policy from this. Let's see. The premium payable is 0.07. Tawad if it is pre-shipment, 0.15 cents. Here, 0.07. Right? Okay. Main similarities between two schemes, you can read right. I'll explain to you. Make a balana, ATA Khane. What is ATA Khane? ATA Khane is when we are, if you are a gem merchant, gem exporter, now you want to go to one of the trade fairs in the world, either Frankfurt trade fair, Dubai trade fair, or Beijing trade fair. When you are going there with your gems and jewelry and all those precious items, when you take those things out of the country, you have to pay export taxes. Am I correct? Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah. You have to pay export taxes. And if you can't sell the stuff, you have to bring, you have sold one or two items. So you are bringing back you have to bring back the other unsold items. When those things are coming into the country, then you have to pay import tax. You have to pay export tax as well as import tax. Precious items. That's a hell of a thing. You can't earn any profit. It will be utter loss. So to avoid that and to promote these people, when you are taking goods out of the country on exhibitions and all, there is a thing called ATA Khane guarantee. ATA Khane guarantee. There, we list down all the items we are taking, and then there will be a guarantee. They will charge you, and there will be a guarantee. Right? Once you go to the overseas trade fair, once you've sold the stuff, whatever the money you earn, you have to remit it back to Sri Lanka immediately. From that country, you have to remit it back to Sri Lanka. And then you can bring back the balance stuff along with the remitting advisors. Right? So when it comes to Sri Lanka, you have to show them, this is what I have taken out, and this is my balance, and this is what I have sold, and the remittance advisors. They will again check each and every item. Check against the list, and they will also determine what are the stuff sold, and then they will allow you to take the things back to country. Right? Tax given. So make a very important for people who are taking goods for what they call this exhibitions and all. Right? Okay. That is ATA Khane guarantees. The other one is Sri Lanka Export Development Board. EDB. Somebody asked that question. What is EDB? Sri Lanka Export Development Board. Sri Lanka Export Development Board also established in 1979, again by Dr. Lal Mudali, one of the brains, is the brainchild behind this, right? And that's the Apex organization for the promotion and development of exports in Sri Lanka, right? And services provided by EDB to Sri Lankan exporters, right? I don't want to go through in detail. You all can read this and then study. But this is a possible question. Services provided by EDB to Sri Lankan exporters, right? Advisory services, market promotions and development programs, exporters forums for exporters to air their grievances and obtain solutions, conducting training programs, blah blah blah, everything make it මේටික වැඩ මට බලලා ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉම්පෝර්ටන්ට් ඒවා මුකුත් මට තේරුම් කරන්න දේවල් මේකේ නැහැ. Right? Facilitation for small producers, export links ups and everything is there. But I am not sure how much they are doing this. How much they are doing this. I have a big question mark here. Well, either we can take more positive steps like entrepot trading and all. They can promote that among our exporters. And among කලින් කිව්වා සර්කියුලර් එකේ තියෙනවා EDB ගැන ලොකුට කයිය ගහනවා. බඩු නැහැ. Right? They are sleeping. Then the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce. Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, they make the වැඩක් නැහැ. The business services provided to exporters very much similar to EDB. But they do a better thing because they are the people who will issue certificate of origin. We know certificate of origin. They are the people who will issue certificate of origin to the exporters. Right? Now they issue e-certificate of origin also. And they are the people who will conduct commodity auctions like tea, rubber, spices, gem. Commodity auctions also conducted by them. And not like EDB, they get involved in dispute resolution, dispute settlement, right? Dispute resolution, they get involved. That means if anybody is going for arbitration or conciliation or mediation services, they do. Then organizing export exhibitions and export award schemes. Both parties are doing. EDB is also doing, right? Issuing publications, they go to කරනවා. කියවන මිනිස්සු තමයි නැත්තේ. They conduct quality surveys for exporters. They do a lot of extra services to the exporters. Right? Okay. Those are the important things. Right? You can read it, last two, but possible questions. Right? I have not gone into details because you can read it and get the idea. Nothing difficult to understand. Right? Okay. Done. I managed to finish it. And now we have to, my plan is, I have planned to, with your guys, just a reminder, you have to fill that evaluation and then send it to IBSL either today or tomorrow. Right? Please do that. Right. Now I have finished basic EDB. Yes. And then ඉවර කළා උගලත් එක්ක. Entrepot trade, yes. Counter trade, yes. Next week we will do central bank Sri Lanka, how central bank supported international trade operations in Sri Lanka, the global monetary organizations, and then GSP, GSP plus, and HS codes. Then we are finished. It was a bit long. Last papers here discuss करा, right?